Morning and welcome to episode 2, where we're going to take VizUrl or VizUrl. I really must come up with the way I want to say that. We're going to take the requirements, start getting AI to flesh them out for us, keep track of them. And what I'm planning on doing before that is I've got OpenAI open in research mode, so I can actually find out what's already out there. So I want to kick that off whilst also doing some research in another session. It's quite early here, so I'm half whispering because people are still asleep. And let's go. I have a product idea which will be a bookmark visualizer, and it's going to be quite powerful in the end to enable me to add labels and visualize in 2D, 3D, AI helped. And basically I need to research what's out there in the way of bookmark management and synchronization between browsers and platforms. In the future, I want to grow this product so it can be collaborated with other team members and capture notes and link from one bookmark to another, labels, AI assistants, and so much more. Quite a lot of the time, bookmark managers and shortcut bars are very basic. So I'd like your assistance with researching what is already out there. Keep it concise, and I'd also like at the end a summary table of features and which of the products implements those features, and that may help me guide my roadmap. As you noticed, I've just gone from dark mode to light mode, so that's literally very early. Let's set that off in motion because research can take a long time. Okay, so I think I will get a notification when that's done. I haven't actually used research mode yet. And whilst that's going, I'm going to flip back over to Cursor, which is the development environment that I'm using. And it's completely empty at the moment. All we've got is a folder basically in a repository called VizUrl. And there's a one readme in there and a git ignore. So I use Git as the software configuration management, so you can check files in and out. So when I make a mistake, I can roll back basically, especially when I'm doing things at 6 o'clock in the morning. So one of the things that's quite powerful in Cursor is something called Cursor rules. And with Cursor rules, you can help guide AI to, I might as well have the update while I'm talking, guide the AI to do what you want, so it doesn't make assumptions, or you want things to be more concise, or you want to guide it about the source code it's writing, whatever it is that you need. So what I plan to do is, as we're going, create some Cursor rules and give it some guidance about when to use each one of those rules. So let's see. When you press Command Shift P, you get the command palette up, and then in there you can type in Cursor rule, and then one of them will be new Cursor rule or add user rule. Don't know what the difference is there. Let's choose the add one, and I'm just going to call this requirements. So I'm going to be capturing my requirements, and each time I say about a requirement, I want it to automatically run this rule. Okay, knowledge added successfully. That's not what I was looking for. So maybe it is new Cursor rule. Yes, well that's the pop-up I was expecting. So let's put in requirements. And here what we're saying is, when do we want this to be applied by cursor? So I want to say apply intelligently whenever I'm discussing requirements or features of my app. Okay, so in theory, whatever I type in here will be automatically run every time I'm talking about requirements. So let's put the rules here. Here are my rules. Number 1, put a hand waving emoji in the output to indicate that you are assessing the requirement cursor rule. Number 2, keep things really concise. Number 3, always output markdown format. Number 4, ensure you do not repeat yourself in the file. Number 5, use markdowns checklist syntax so that as requirements are completed, they can be ticked off as we go. So that's all I can think of at the moment. String. Now I'm going to save that, and as a test, close that and say, if I type in here hello, this is me talking to Chat GPT. Don't need an agent mode, I can just have ask mode, so it's less tokens and everything else, so just hello. It's not going to really show anything at the moment because I've not talked about requirements. It should come back straight away and tell me who it is. Now I've got another rule elsewhere, I have to hunt down exactly where, that says whenever I talk to the chat, tell me what model you're using under the hood, because quite often I'm using automatic mode, so sometimes it's useful to know which mode it's in. Occasionally I like to control it, especially when I'm writing code. Claude Sonnet is one of the best ones that I've found so far for coding. Haven't experimented Chat GPT 5 yet, but this just helps. So that's why that's included in the output. That hand waving emoji is one of my things that I do to know what rules are being run. So there must be a global rule which I hadn't intended to show up. I'm not going to look into where that exists at the moment. So let's just say create a requirement for feature called XYZ. Rubbish text, but I'm hoping to see the hand waving emoji and it's saying requirements. Oh, there we go. So now it knows what it needs to do, and yeah, so it's outputted there. But one of the things that I wanted to specify is that it needs to create it in a file. The requirements should be stored in a file named requirements.md in the root of the project folder. Whenever modifying, modify that file, don't create any other files unless explicitly asked. I need you to capture these requirements for my tool VizUrl. It's primarily going to be a visualization tool for bookmarks. Whenever I use bookmarks, they are in the shortcut bar within Safari, and at best I categorize them into folders and then navigate into them. It's quite clunky, it's quite slow, not only to add them, but to maintain them and to navigate to the specific bookmark that I want. So the tool will enable me to either import the bookmarks from an export that's been done from each of the key browsers, Chrome, Safari, Edge, maybe others. And then when importing, I need to know where they were imported from. So ideally in the export there's some metadata that will help me track that, but there will be other ways in the future of importing, for example using APIs, or if provided by the browsers, and by dragging URLs from the browser onto the page and in the future extensions within the browser itself. So I might be viewing a page and I want to add the bookmark to my collection. There will be primarily web-based integrations, but I do see the need to potentially have an application that will be very powerful for visualizations, very fast, and therefore outside of the browser ecosystem, particularly when we're talking about mobile phones. In that scenario, they will be written in native code to be as fast as possible, load as quickly as possible, and get out the user's way, with the ability to be able to, when you're in a browsing session on Safari on the mobile device, you'll be able to send it to VizUrl very quickly. Okay, so when a bookmark is added to the system, we will need to capture a certain amount of metadata about the bookmark. I've already mentioned about where it came from, so we can track when a bookmark has been added, when we've imported 3-4 times, but more importantly, when maybe a bookmark's been deleted and we want to confirm removal. We do not need to synchronize bookmarks. This is not a bookmark synchronizing tool between browsers at least, but we will enable users to be able to log in and see their bookmarks between their own browsers. Now, there will be collaboration to other users, so I would like to, for example, share either a single bookmark or a page of bookmarks, or there may be a concept of bookmark collections, and so we would be able to share at different levels. So say, for example, I have a company and I want to share within the company read-only access to certain users, then I can do that, but then there may be certain sub-areas of that that are only visible by certain roles, so there's going to be quite a bit of complexity going forwards. But there will be a minimum viable product version of this, and we need to keep that into account when we're doing these requirements. Therefore, the checklist needs to be hierarchical in nature to keep things logically together for common areas of my requirements, such as mobile, so we can look at those when we start writing the mobile app. Browser extensions will be one specific area, and the minimum viable product would be literally the smallest amount we can get away with before we do a launch. So in that specific case, I want to be able to import the bookmarks, I want to be able to capture the metadata and view it. So in this case, I need the URL, I need to know where it was imported from, the date it was imported, maybe how many times it's been imported. I want the user to be able to add some labels to each bookmark, and so there'd be a concept of label management, but the labels would be owned, I suppose, well, the label is going to be a text entry basically, and that will make it really easy then if I'm sharing it with other people that the label is in there. But we may want to think about another future requirement to tidy up labels. So say, for example, I've used inconsistent namings, I might want to rename all of those that say work to another label name, and then it can apply that globally across all of the database. There will be different visualizations. The first one will be very simple, a tree-like representation of all the bookmarks, showing all the relationships between them, and it's not isolated to one level. It will be very much like the browser bookmarks in Safari. You can have folders within folders. So there's a hierarchical one. But one of the main things I want to be able to do is have pages of bookmarks, and in there a 2D representation of them with the ability to draw lines between them to show relationships. There should be a way to filter the bookmarks that are on the screen. So regardless of whether I'm in the tree view or the spatial 2D view, I should be able to type in either a label and then only see those bookmarks with that label, or maybe it's a free text string, so if there's a description against each bookmark, then it will filter by that. And of course, the URL itself, if maybe I wanted all the Amazon ones, then any URL with Amazon in them will be included. Right, I'm pausing there because that's an awful lot, and I'm sure it's quite boring to follow. What I want to do is see what markdown format it's going to end up in the requirements document, and then we might want to refine the syntax a little bit. So what we're hoping now is every time that we talk about requirements, it's going to add to this document, and as I'm starting a session with you, I'll open it up and go, okay, what is it we need to do? Oh, well, we need to import the browser bookmarks. Okay, we'll work on that today, and so on. Right, so that's good. Now I'm trying to fill time because I'm waiting for this research to complete. Oh, I'd completely misread this. I thought it had gone off and started doing the research, but if you look here, it's asking me loads of extra questions, and I completely ignored it, so big fail there. Let's have a look at those now. Are you primarily interested in browser extensions, desktop apps, mobile apps, cross-platform, cloud-based bookmark managers? Okay. Well, that explains why it was taking so long. It was waiting for me to get back. I need to read them a little bit more. There we go, starting research. Now the research is completed, and it's looked at 22 different sources, and there's a lot here. Some of the names I see I recognise, and I've not tried any of these. So you could argue I should basically just start using one of the existing ones. Some open source ones, cross-browser sync considerations, feature comparison. I mean, this is useful, isn't it? So I've got a list of all the features along the columns here, and each of the products. Okay, so let's go straight to the conclusion. I'm going to read this properly, but not right now. Simpler service focus on basic saving and tagging across devices, whereas advanced solutions offer visual organization, content archiving, collaborative spaces, and AI-driven categorization. Notion and general note-taking apps were excluded, so they're not primarily bookmark-centric. By analyzing these existing products, you can identify gaps and opportunities for your envisioned tool. For example, very few tools offer 2D, 3D spatial visualization of bookmarks. Most are list or grid-based, so a scene graph visualization would be a standout feature. Real-time data integration is virtually unexplored in bookmark managers. Okay, AI assistance is emerging in a few offerings like MyMind or Bookmark.io, but there's room to innovate with AI-driven link recommendations or clustering related bookmarks via vector embeddings. Collaboration is supported in some tools, but combining collaboration with visual mapping and real-time data could carve a unique niche. Leveraging open source projects such as Link Warden or Karakeep for baseline features, sync, tagging, archiving, and building your unique visualization and AI layers on top could accelerate development. By studying the strengths of the current solution, Raindrops UI, Digos, annotation, drop marks, teamwork, MyMinds, AI, etc. You can chart a roadmap that integrates the best of these features and goes beyond, creating a powerful bookmark visualization platform that stands out in capability and user experience. Do apologize for that stupid noise. I need to repair this chair so that doesn't happen, or keep my feet still. Okay, let's ask for update the feature table to include a new column at the start that scores them out of 1 to 5 stars based on feature completion. Use a common scoring mechanism across them all. For each column, show a tick, cross, or partial emoji to simplify rendering. That would just help me see it much clearer. Okay, so this is good. It's much easier to grok. Raindrop.io really featuring high. Link Warden, which is the open source one, that's quite impressive. So I think maybe looking at some of these would be very beneficial. And seeing that I've never done a browser extension before, then if I can use something like Link Warden, which is open source and highly featured, could be a very good way, like they say. And interestingly, PWA is a progressive web app. It's interesting that they've chosen non-native and just basically you end up with an icon that you can save on your home screen, and then basically it's launching a web application in effect on your mobile device. So could be a good approach. You leveraging the same code base for mobile and browser. Okay, food for thought. Going to pause there because this is longer than I planned, and we need to get some of these features into our requirements document as well. In fact, let's try something here. I think if I get cursor open again, because cursor is open, I'm hoping that I can get this AI to talk to cursor directly, which I've never done before. Oh, okay. So we've got that extension installed. Update my requirements.md file to add any missing requirements based on this research. Keep it very concise, and for each you add, you need to include the emoji. What can I use? The emoji shrug to help indicate that I need to review the added requirements. They're not from my original thoughts. Now, I could have done this all directly in Cursor and not used the Chat GPT application, but sometimes it's quite nice to use this native AI tool and then try and synchronize it back into Cursor. So, I mean, that looks good. Doesn't look like it's added too much, which is nice. And there's an apply button there. Here we go. It's in there, but there's no feedback in here that it's done it. Oh, okay. At some point it did do it. Okay, so the ones with the shrugs I might want to add based on all the other ones that are out there. Okay. Let's also ask for something else. Add to the requirements document that I should research the competitors and then list each of them as a child task with a hyperlink to that tool. Make it clear when it's open source. Yeah, let's see how that works out. Tempted to flick that switch to auto apply code, but that's exactly what I was after basically. So let's apply that. Good. Yeah, a little progress bar or something would be useful there. I'd be thinking, have I clicked apply or not? It should do a spinner or something. I'm waiting. What I'm thinking now is maybe it's because I tabbed it to Cursor and then tabbed back that it refreshed it. Maybe it has updated. Let's do a quick tab. Cursor and back. Yeah, there's some rendering issue there. Okay, but the competitor research is there. I don't think we need the success criteria. Probably will delete those at some point in the future, but that's fine. We do have the initial requirements, and then what I tend to do is ask AI to generate a plan using some sort of reasoning model, and then use that plan and hand that over to another AI model to go off and actually implement it. So that will be probably where we will go in the next episode, although I do think that I need to review these requirements and decide which ones are true MVP and which ones can come later, and definitely look at some of the competitors that are out there, including most definitely this one. So I'm going to open that one up because I'm very interested in what that looks like. Okay, well, it certainly looks like a nice visualization, nice and clean. So you've got the URL, it's pulled out some sort of image from the page, it's given a primary label for each one, the class is collections, so what collection do you want them in? That's nice and clean. And then the ability to view them by tags instead, so that's good. So although I'm not convinced, but because it says pricing, maybe it isn't open source, or they open source elements of it and then they productized it as well. So $3 per month per user. I've not even thought about prices or anything like that. It's kind of like I want to keep it as reasonably cheap as possible, you know, make it so people don't even think about it. So I would imagine it would be more of a yearly subscription, $10 a year, $12 a year, that sort of thing. So $1 a month. Yep, they are support open source. Okay, so See, I wouldn't feel comfortable, for example, forking their repo and then doing my visualization on top. And I don't feel as if I own that whole stack then. Plus, the licensing might be permissive to use in a non-commercial way, but as soon as it's commercial, you have to put all your code into theirs. So, and I don't want to over-analyze the competitors and then end up cloning them. So that's the other risk there. So let's have a look at the features. Full page preservation. Unlike traditional bookmarks that often break or vanish, Link Warden backs up every page in multiple formats, including full HTML content, ensuring you always have access to the original content. Read and annotate. View your saved articles and bookmarks in our dedicated reader view, where you can make adjustments to the font style, highlight text and add annotations. Yeah, really wasn't my plan. Automatic organization. Yes, I certainly get that, but I'd want final control. Sharing and collaboration. Viewer, contributor, admin. Yeah. Save them in distraction free. So that's like a print view or read view with no ads and everything. Yeah, not really what I was after either. Open source, self-hostable. Let's have a little look at the licensing that they have. Measures of this strongest copyleft license are conditioned on making available complete source code of licensed works and modifications, which include larger works using licensed work under the same license. Copyright and licensing notice must be preserved. Contributors provide an express grant of patent rights when a modified version is used to provide a service over a network. The complete source code of the modified version must be made available. So yeah, it's not something I can build upon if I'm planning to make mine commercial. If I don't plan to, that's fine. I can give them all my code. Follow RSS feeds, pin links and collections, privacy friendly, powerful search, browser extensions, browser sync, bulk actions, import and export, secure API integration and more. It's pretty good though. Okay, from a GitHub perspective at least, there's a lot of people that have started it as interested in updates, and so it does show that there's need for that sort of thing. Okay, we're done for today.